All right, let's talk about Grumpy Old Men, 1993 movie. I saw this again the other day. Rip Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. They died about like 7-8 years later after this movie. They did a sequel. You could say that Grumpy Old Men is a Christmas movie, but you can't say the sequel is, because the sequel happens in summer. And so I watched them both. So respect to those guys, because, I mean, they don't make movies like this anymore. It's a Christmas movie, just like Die Hard. And this is a story about how men talk to each other. And a lot of people have forgotten this. You know, there's plenty of people who are on TikTok these days who don't understand how men will just like get in these insult contests. They walk out of their house every morning and they're like, "Morning, dickhead," like Walter Matthau in that movie. You know what I'm saying? And they're just bickering back and forth all day long. You know, and it's hard for some people to understand that these people are friends, even if they think to each in their own heads that they're enemies. They're friends, and that's why they have an important scene later in the movie where Walter Matthau's at the hospital, and it's like, "Are you family or friend?" He's like, "Huh? Are you family or friend?" But he wants to see him, and he's like, I'm a friend, and he has to like acknowledge it. It's the idea of frenemies. You know, a lot of, I guess, women don't understand that. You know, this is a lot of how like men interact with each other. You know, they may get like. A person you fought the most in your life could probably be your best friend. It's like, "This is hey, how you doing? This is my best friend. This is Joe, my best friend. This is Tanya." It's like, how you know how many times I fought this guy? How many times we fight? 86 times we fought. And then he walked out. "I got to go to the bathroom. Be right back." And she's like, "Why is he your best friend if you fought him that many times?" It's like, we're best friends. That's what best friends sometimes do. We've argued, right, Eric?
Oh, yeah.
Like every other week.
Lots of times.
Lots of times. You know, men bicker, and some people can't handle it. You know, it's like, "Oh, we got to talk nice to everybody all the time." It's like, no. Men will insult you to your face and turn around and say, "Oh, you're the best guy ever." It's like, "He's my best friend." You know what I mean? Reverse that. And that's women. Speaking of women, the Ann-Margret thing. It's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and Ann-Margret, back in 93, would. Would. And it's something that I didn't notice as I was a kid. When I was a kid, and I saw it, because 93, I was obviously a kid when this first came out, I was all about Daryl Hannah. I was like, "Whew, Daryl Hannah looks good in this movie." And she does. She does look very good in this movie. And at the same time, I was young and naive enough to think, hey, you know, if the weird brownie from Willow can hook up with Daryl Hannah, a girl like Daryl Hannah, why couldn't I? And no, a guy like Kevin Pollak can never hook up with Daryl Hannah. Anyway. So, I mean, it's interesting, like, watching this movie a few, like, years later, you know, when your tastes in women have changed, and you start to understand the whole Ann-Margret competition. You know, it's like this weird hippie chick moves in across the street, but everyone's talking about her. Nobody can keep their eyes off her, and these two men have this competitive rivalry over. They have rivalries over everything, from fishing to everything, to even women. And that's what this movie is about. It's a comedy of errors of these guys being guys in competition. All right. But when, like I said, there's a scene in the hospital. Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon Gustafson had a heart issue. When the chips are down, these men are friends. And that's the point of the movie, is that even though men talk to each other like that, they're still friends. I don't know. It's hard for some people to understand. It's like, sometimes you're friends with a guy because he has the best insults. You thought you had the best insults of all the people you knew. Then you run into this other guy who has way better insults than you. You're like, "I'm hanging out with you for the rest of my life. You're the best. I need to sharpen my game." And you're the kind of guy to do it. So, Grumpy Old Men, 1993, 12 of 13 stars. It's an excellent comedy that keeps earning stars the older I get. However, it's sad. I couldn't give it all the way to 13 because it's sad that there's no Walter Matthau or Jack Lemmon around anymore, who are veterans, old school veterans. And that's, that's how they grew up every day. It's like back when they were making this movie, Walter Matthau is like, okay, I know that I come out here and say, morning, dickhead. It's not like Walter Matthau said, that doesn't seem very nice to say to my friend. He's like, oh, come out and say, good morning, dickhead. That's how friends talk to each other. And that's completely normal. You know what I mean?